I want to cry. So please excuse me, and if you can bring me a tissue at any point, I'd appreciate it. When you first hear courage, generally something pops in your head, like the lion from The Wizard of Oz, or that little purple dog from Cartoon Network, Courage the Cowardly Dog. That's the conditioned response we have. That's what society has trained us to think when we first hear something. The second time we hear that word, we really process what it means to us. We give our own application of the word. And when I was raped the first time, I didn't have courage. I didn't know I was supposed to have courage because I didn't even know. I was 14. Nobody talks to you at 14 on what's rape and what's love, what you're supposed to do with your body as a 14-year-old female, what's acceptable. And I believed the kids in high school. I believed I was a slut, and I was a whore, and I belonged in the trash can where they threw me. So I changed schools. And my depression was so bad at that point, I was hospitalized my senior year for suicide, and that's when I learned, 14 years ago, the start of my downhill. That was rape, and that was not my choice, and I knew that, but I didn't know that I could control my own body, that guys didn't have the right to it, that I had a say. And so when I was raped the second time at age 20, I was terrified. I did not want to go through what I went through high school again. I was so ashamed and afraid and disgusted. I couldn't look at my brown hair, my fat thighs, and I hated my breasts, and I feel like any sexual part of my body just needed to be disengaged, just covered up. I wore baggy clothes, and the day after, I did the hardest thing you can do after that kind of tragedy. I told a friend. I took one step. So we just kind of drove around town, and I just kind of sat in silence because she was also a survivor, and she knew. I didn't have to say anything, and it was really nice to just not be afraid as much. So I took another step, and I told another friend who is training to be a police officer, and I didn't know what to do from this point, so he told me that I had to get a kit done and that I should probably tell my boyfriend. We were only dating for 1.5 years at this point. So I told my boyfriend, and then he went with me, and I got the rape kit done, and that was absolutely terrifying. They don't tell you that they strip you of your morality when they get this kit done. And I didn't think I was brave at the time. I didn't think I had a choice. It was either I went through this process or I die. Because that's what happened the last time. I almost died. And I'm not being overdramatic, it's terrible. So then, took the kit, told the police. Police didn't do anything. But I had another option because this person was in the armed forces, so I went through JAG, and they helped me get the justice to some degree. They didn't convict him. There was not enough hard evidence, unfortunately, but I got to take him to court, and I got to stand on a podium with him watching me the entire time as the cross-examination was just ripping me apart, trying to prove that I was a slut, that I was a whore, that I was not drunk, not, passed out. But I did get the chance to look him in the eye, and I got to tell him, this is not okay. When you use alcohol as a lubricant to have sex with women that are unconscious, you are using a date rape drug. Ever since I said that, I felt better. I've loved my blonde hair. I love my eyebrows, and I love my hands. They're not anything special, but it's a start, I've started wearing dresses again that kind of show things off, because I wanted to feel pretty again. I wanted to feel like I'm worth it. I'm worth everything. And when I think of courage, that's what I think of, is not just the event, but the fact that I want to share my story to help others. Because telling someone is the hardest part. It is the hardest part. And then you have to tell it again and again. You have to tell it to the police. You have to tell it to your counselor. You have to tell it to the judge. You have to recount the story almost every month. And you don't break free of it until you finally get past all the court, get past any point of possible appeals, and you can finally put it on your shelf. And I didn't stop my life. That's the hardest part. I did not stop my life. When I was raped the second time, I was in college. I dropped half my classes, but I finished. And I worked with my college, and I was able to pick up those classes over the summer and finish them. And here I am in my 4th year. I still have another year to go because of all that I dropped that one year, but I finished with straight A's this year. And I just want to give courage to somebody else because I don't need it anymore. I don't need to be strong, but I need to feel like I'm making a difference in somebody else. I want to save another 14-year-old girl or boy or gender neutral, whomever. I want to let them know that there's an option and there's people out there that are willing to help.